There is the bell, and that means soccer is in session. Hi guys, I am your host, Madison Crews, here for another episode, and we're going to be talking a bit about the men's college side of things because a lot of stuff has happened in this past week and these past weeks leading up to these new conference games, to the NCAA tournaments, and it's going to be an exciting episode. I'm really excited for this one. But before we get into that, a word from our sponsor at Kaiser Permanente. Soccer's in Session is presented by Kaiser Permanente. Live well and thrive. Let Kaiser Permanente take care of the rest. All right, guys, so starting off with Division I, we're going to take a look at Georgia State. Now, Georgia State unfortunately fell to West Virginia 3-1 in the SBC tournament this past Sunday on November 5th. And the Panthers actually had the lead in the match at the 50th minute when Ethan Sassini scored his 7th goal of the season, which was a beautiful goal. You all should definitely check that out if you get the chance. But unfortunately, West Virginia wasted no time in responding when at the 56th minute they managed to score the equalizer. Then West Virginia came back and was able to score in the 69th minute and at the 76th minute, giving them the 3-1 victory. The Panthers ended the season with an overall record of 6-7-5 and a conference record of 3-4-2. So a great season to them. Congratulations to everyone on that side, and we look forward to seeing what you guys do in the next season. Now moving on to the Mercer Bears, they have a great chance of possibly getting in to the NCAA tournament in Division I as well. On Sunday, November 12th, they will be facing off against Furman in Greenville, South Carolina for the Southern Conference Tournament Championships. Now, to give a little bit of a backstory as to how the Mercer Bears got to the championships, they tied the game 1-1 against ETSU and then went on to win in penalty kicks 4-3. But what really stands out to me about this game was that ETSU actually had the lead going into halftime. They scored at the 30th minute, giving them the 1-0 lead before the half. And then at the 80th minute, Saku Agard got a beautiful header and was able to get it into the top right corner of the net, which I just watched the goal back. And I mean, it was a beautifully well-played ball right into the box. And then Agard was just able to knock it right in there. So, I mean, great equalizing goal. And then they went to overtime. Both teams weren't able to really get anything on it. And so then they went to penalty kicks where Mercer went on to win 4-3, moving on to the final to face off against Furman. Now moving on to Division II, we're going to be looking at the University of North Georgia. They had a huge win in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament against Georgia Southwestern, winning 2-1 in the quarterfinal, and they will be moving on this Friday, November 10th at 7:30 p.m. in Merrow, Georgia. They will be facing off in the semifinal against Lander. Now, on October 4th, they played against Lander back at their home, and they were tied 0-0. And then the next time they played Lander back on October 25th, they lost to Lander 1-3. So this is going to be a little bit of a rematch for UNG and a bit of a redemption for them to see if they can come back and they can win the semifinal against Lander and move on to the Peach Belt Conference Championship. Now we're going to be moving on to Division III, where the Oglethorpe Petrels won the SAA championship last Sunday. And I mean, that was a phenomenal game. Getting to watch them and Rhodes play against each other, I mean, it was a back and forth. It was so great to watch, and it was a very, very fun weekend of soccer getting to watch all that. But a bit of a recap of kind of how we got to the championship. Oglethorpe faced off against Swanee Friday, November 3rd, where they won 2-0 against Swanee in the semifinals. It was pretty scoreless in the first half. Both the teams, it was a very physical battle. And then coming into the second half at the 65th minute, I mean, Ben Alrum had a beautiful long-range shot to the top corner of the net. And that is the reason why he was named the Offensive Player of the Year in the SAA tournament. I mean, he's just a phenomenal player to watch. And watching that goal in real time, I at first didn't even think it was going to go in, and then it went right into that corner of the net, and I mean, I went ballistic. It was madhouse there. It was so crazy. It was such a fun atmosphere to be at. But don't worry, Ben Alrum isn't the only one who got a goal in this match or their time to shine. In the 89th minute, Christian Medina found the back of the net, and when I tell you the place went crazy after that, I mean the place went crazy after that. People who were watching from the apartment buildings right outside, I mean, they were jumping up and down. It was crazy. So then they went on to win the semifinal game to earn their spot in the championship to play against Rhodes. Now moving on to the final against Rhodes, it was pretty much scoreless, just like the Swanee game, scoreless in the first half. Not much happened. It was a very much back and forth side, very physical, but the Stormy Petrels broke through at the 64th minute when Luke Ferrari headed the ball into the back of the net from a beautiful cross from Ben Alrum. And so that brings us to 1-0 in the second half, but only 4 minutes later, Javier Aponte was able to get his first goal of the season to make it 2-0 in the final, with another beautiful assist from Ben Alrum. Then at the 74th minute, the goal that basically sealed the championship victory for the Petrels was when Ben Alrum was awarded a free kick and scored from there. And I mean, you get the chance, you gotta go and watch the video. I mean, the goal is spectacular. It is perfection. It is perfection from Alrum, and it was just an amazing game to be at. It was so phenomenal. It was so well executed soccer, and it was awesome getting to see their first SAA championship victory since 2017. And I mean, it was an honor to get to be there. So I'm very happy I was able to get to see that. But it's going to be a quick turnaround for the Petrels as they are going to be facing off in the NCAA Division III men's soccer tournament this weekend. They'll be facing off against Colorado College this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. at Emory, so kind of a bit in their own backyard, but they will be facing off for the first round of that tournament. Now, if they beat Colorado College, they will then move on to either face off against the number 9 Emory or Brevard at 3 p.m. Sunday, November 12th. Now, this leads into our very special guest for today's podcast. I had the pleasure to talk to Jon Akin, who is the head coach for the Oglethorpe men's soccer team. And I got to talk to him a bit about the NCAA Division III tournament coming up, a bit about the championship against Rhodes, and just a bit about the development of soccer here in Georgia and what we can expect from this team going into this weekend. You guys won the SAA championships against Rhodes, beating them 3-0. I mean, how did it feel to get to hold that trophy?
It was amazing. We hadn't done the double, if you will, since 2017, and earned that automatic bid, which was great. I think we were on the outside looking in due to our strength of schedule. So in a must-win format, again, we came through 3 games in a row, which we're very proud of. And I'm just happy for the team. You know, a lot of those guys haven't done that before. I've done that as a coach, and for those guys to do it for the first time was pretty exciting.
And I kind of want to take a step backwards, back to before the game. When you guys found out that you guys were competing against Rhodes, who handed you guys your only loss in conference play, I mean, what was your message to the team? How did you guys kind of look at that and then analyze that going into the game?
Yeah, it was, you know, it's one of those, we did not take that opportunity the last time we competed against them. So it was a missed opportunity, and we got a chance to redo it, if you will, for even, you know, more at stake. So I think they relished the opportunity. You know, and again, Rhodes is a good side, but I think if we had not played Emory on Tuesday, I think we would have had enough energy to take advantage of that the original Rhodes match. But that's a mistake on my part with scheduling, and I'll own that. And I'm glad when we were equally taxed, if you will, from the semifinal game, our quality kind of came through.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to take a minute to talk about Nicholas Mejia, who's the freshman goalkeeper, which I want to make it clear, I had no idea he was a freshman. I've looked that up on the roster when I came in for the final, and I was absolutely floored. I mean, the way he handles being in goal as well, it just feels like he's been doing this for so long. So just talk to me about his growth as a leader in the back line, at least from the beginning of the season to now.
Yeah, I think, you know, he was a really late signing for us. Our starting goalkeeper the last 2 years, Ethan Harrison, transferred to Division I Georgia Southern. And so, you know, we were in the need of picking up a very good goalkeeper. He kind of fell through the cracks at a really high level. And due to some contacts that I have found out, he was still available. So picking him up, we learned as much about him as he learned about us early in the season about how we do things and coming together. He also has an outstanding veteran crew in front of him. So I think he learned a lot from those guys. And obviously, whether you're a freshman or a senior, if you're new together, it's your first time through it. So those guys got a chance to develop a rapport, become have a little bit more understanding about what we're all trying to do from a system standpoint, what the expectations were, and candidly, he was really good in his first game, but I think understanding and respect and knowing where everyone should be at all times takes time. And we look like a pretty cohesive unit over the course of the season, despite having like two new pieces out of our back four and goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on it too, just a little bit about like bringing people in, bringing players in. You have 15 Georgia natives on your roster, and that just is a testament to how much soccer has grown here in Georgia. So, I guess just with that being said, I mean, how does it feel to be a part of this growing community in soccer here in Georgia?
Yeah, I think those of us, especially in the Southeast, I'm a Floridian, but Pensacola is not too far away, and went to college in Tampa. The game has continued to grow from the '60s and '70s with, the Tampa Bay Rowdies to the Atlanta Chiefs, and obviously I was a part of the professional game with the Atlanta Silverbacks, which was the group before Atlanta United, and coaches, from the mid 90s onwards have done a good job of developing players. And Atlanta really is, probably the hotbed in the Southeastern United States. So we don't have to go outside of Atlanta to find talent to compete for us at the college level. I'd work on the youth side as well. And there's just, there are a lot of good coaches out there. There's a lot of people that care passionately about the game that continue to help us grow towards soccer being the number one sport in our country. We still got a little ways to go, but I think we're slowly getting there, and I think the resources getting put behind it at the highest level is going to continue to draw up, if you will, the talent at all levels. Candidly.
I completely agree with you. It's been great to see kind of everything come into it because I was a huge soccer fan, like even before Atlanta United kind of came into the picture, and then seeing how much it's grown has been tremendous, even on the women's side as well. Like it's great to see.
Yeah, a rising tide raises all ships. So I think we're all seeing that, whether it's college soccer, Division I, Division III, pro sports, youth kids competing in Atlanta United 2, a professional format earlier. It's exciting, and I think all that work that everybody's doing, the players, the coaches, the leagues and the standards they're implementing, basically is going to give a better product for people to watch and enjoy. And in turn, they'll do what they need to do to continue to watch those things. So we're all connected. If we all do the right things, we will continue to develop into, the best soccer country in the world.
Absolutely. And we talked a bit about the Georgia natives. We have to talk about some of your international signings. One specifically, Ben Alrum. He had 2 assists and 1 goal in that final match. I mean, just talk about his impact on the team and his standpoint as a leader on the team.
Sure. I think Ben has, grown into, we named him one of the 3 captains, but he's really, whether it was the off-season workouts with the guys on the team, he led those. And I think that really sets the tone for the year. And when arguably your best player is putting in the hardest amount of work, it's hard for the other people not to follow his lead. So I think it started with the hard work in the offseason. He's obviously a very talented player, and I think he's grown into a player who steps up in big moments. He's done it, multiple times over the course of the season, and I was thrilled to see him do it on our biggest stage, which would be a conference final, giving us the NCAA berth.
But you guys will be playing Colorado College this Saturday at 3:30 at Emory. How does it feel to kind of have a game be played in almost your backyard?
Yeah, we call Emory's Field our home away from home. We are their standing partner in the Sonny Carter Invitational, the opening season tournament. So we play 2 games there to kick off our season every single year. We've been doing it for 21 years since I've been the coach. And, we've already played there twice. We're familiar. We beat number 11 at the time, Washington and Lee 1-0, and we tied Covenant College 0-0. So we had 2 games there where we didn't give up a goal. Now we're playing, it'll be 2 very competitive teams again. And if our luck holds, and, I think we've developed our goal scoring abilities over the course of the season. And if we get, a shutout and a goal, we'll be moving on to the second round, which, my guess is going to be Emory, but Brevard could upset them, and we might play Brevard at Emory. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to take it one game at a time. Colorado College is a nationally ranked team. The fact that we'll be sleeping in our own beds and traveling just a couple miles across the road has to mean something and support us all in ways that we're not getting on a plane and coming across the country like Colorado College is. But they're a very good team. I think they beat 5 or 6 nationally ranked teams this year. So a little bit of a home field advantage. Certainly not having to travel is a big advantage. And we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of leading back into this Saturday's game, what has been the talks and the message going into practice leading up to this game?
Candidly, it's been a little bit of a, hey, get guys recovered. It's been pretty light since the weekend. Guys' legs are pretty heavy. Just double weekend games. We're going to be facing the same situation again this weekend. It's, hey, we celebrated, winning 2 trophies. That doesn't mean anything now, because if we lose, our season's over. So I think those guys are ready for that challenge, and that's been the message, as well as kind of getting our information and our preparation right for how Colorado College plays. They're a big physical team, long throws, set pieces, and we're just preparing for that. And then hopefully we execute the way we executed over the course of the season and let the chips fall where they may.
Absolutely. And my last question for you, Coach, is what do you want to tell people that are going to be listening to this? What can they know about Oglethorpe men's soccer?
It's a program of champions. I think we've grown into that. I think that our program plays one of the best styles of soccer in the country, regardless of Division 1, 2, or 3. So I think it's a fun style to watch. It's a really fun style to be a part of, and we try to be the best that we can be. And I think that it's and we're a part of the community. So they say Brookhaven's a college town, so you can get your college sports for free. Come watch us, come check us out, and hopefully we're continuing to dance after this weekend.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach. I really appreciate answering some questions for me.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed being a part of it.
I just want to say thank you to Jon Akin for coming on and talking to me. It was great getting to talk to him again, and I'm excited to see what Oglethorpe can do in the NCAA Division III tournament this weekend. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode, but before we get off with all the closing arguments, another word from our sponsor at Kaiser Permanente. Soccer is in Session is presented by Kaiser Permanente. Live well and thrive. Let Kaiser Permanente take care of the rest. Thank you guys so much for checking out another episode of Soccer is in Session. I have so much fun getting to deep dive into all of these soccer programs around Georgia, and we're going to be back next week to talk a little bit more about the women's side, because a lot of our great women's teams have made it on to tournaments as well. So be sure to check it out when that gets posted, and be sure to subscribe to Soccer Down Here wherever you get your podcast. You can catch it there. You can also listen for free on the Soccer Down Here app, and you can download that in your app store, and you can check it out on soccerdownhere.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys soon.